Hey everyone, Amber Stubbs here with instructions for the solution for this week's lab. So basically I'm just going to go through each of the things that we asked you to do and show you one way to do it. I do want to stress that these are not the only ways that you can do these things, but they are options for how you can approach the problems. So if you did something different that still worked, that's fine. This is just going to go over kind of some of the basic ways to approach them. So the first thing we asked you to do was to ask the user for their name and then greet them with hello and then their name. So you should probably, when you saw that, start thinking about the things that we taught you this week, including how to get input from the user, how to save that input, and then how to write things. So you can take this in a bunch of different stages if you want. So one way to, if you start thinking, well, the first thing that I know how to do is I know how to greet someone. So I know how to say hello, and I can add the rest later. That's fine. So maybe you started with the print statement that was hello. And you're like, all right, so I've got part of it down. It's not done yet, but, at least part of it is there. I've got the beginnings of the print statement that I need. That's one way to approach a programming problem. You say, well, I might not be able to do all of it, but I can do the parts that I know how to do, and then start building from there. So if you're thinking, okay, well, how do we get input from a user? Well, I just used the name of the commands. So we use the input function. And so you can say input, and if you don't put anything in those parentheses, it'll still wait for someone to type something. It just won't tell them what to type. So we can say, what is your name? And that will be the start of it. So one thing that I think I mentioned in the lectures, and I do want to stress, is that you shouldn't type everything first and then go back and run it. So I actually kind of disobeyed myself here. I typed in two things, but it's alright. So I do strongly recommend testing something, thinking about what the code you have will do, and then running it just to make sure that you're right. So at this point, what will happen is this will ask someone what their name is. It will wait to see what they type, and then it'll print hello. So I'm just going to run that, and you can see over here it pops up, what is your name? I can type in Amber, hit enter, and it says hello. So it's doing exactly what I programmed it to do. It's not yet doing what the full part of the assignment is, right? Because it's not greeting me by name. So the first thing we have to do before we can greet anyone by whatever name they type in is we have to save what they typed in into a variable. So right now we have the input statement, but the program's not keeping anything. It's just asking what their name is and then throwing it away. So we can fix that by typing something like name equals. Again, you want to pick a variable name that makes sense in the context. So now we have that person's name, so we can save it. I'm hitting Control S to save, by the way, and if you're not sure how I'm doing that very quickly when you can't see. And then we can go back and run, and it'll ask for your name. I type it in. Same thing happens, but there's no errors. So that's important too. I haven't actually changed the output or what the user sees, but I did make some modifications, so it's important to make sure that those modifications didn't change anything, right? If I'd forgotten the equal sign, or I'd accidentally, in between somehow deleted a parenthesis or quotation mark, it's important to check as you go. So now the next thing is I need to greet the person by their name. So if you remember from the slides, I had an example of that where you do hello and then you can use plus to concatenate things, and then I can type name. Name is not going to be in quotes because I don't want it to literally say the word name. I want it to use the name that the person typed in. So I just save that. Let's run it and see what happens. So if I run it, it says what is your name? I type Amber, and it says hello Amber with no spaces in between. Okay. So now I know I've got the basics down, but I need to dress it up a little bit, make it look a little bit neater, because you know you're going to, if you log into your bank and you get greeted with "Hello Amber," you're going to feel maybe not great about the program behind it, and you want it to look a little nicer. So, alright, I know I need to put in a comma and a space, and I'm going to have to add an exclamation point at the end. So the thing to remember here is that if you want something to be printed literally, it has to go in the quotes. And then if you want to concatenate, so, you know, make all these things show up in the same print statement, you need to use the plus sign. So I can do hello plus name, and then in order to add another string at the end, I can do plus and then an exclamation point in quotes. So then if I want to add the comma and the space, well, I already have a string at the beginning, so I could, if I wanted to, just add the comma and the space there inside of the hello string. I could also do something like this, where I just concatenate a separate string that has the comma and the space in it. That's fine, both will work. Normally I would just do it this way, with having them all in one string, you know, having 3 separate things being printed, string with hello and the comma and the space, and then the name, and then the exclamation point, because there's really no benefit to having multiple strings. You can just kind of put them all into a single one. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to run it, and it's going to type print what is your name. I'm going to type Amber, and it's going to greet me, hello Amber. So that's all that we were looking for part 1, but I hope that this explanation kind of showed you how you could take a small problem and then put it all together, like take all the small pieces and put them together to find one solution. And, you know, by doing parts that you know and then going back and adding in other parts that maybe you needed to look up. So I hope that helps, and I'll see you for part 2.